Hello, friends, and welcome to Learning Across Kansas. I'm your middle school host, Mrs. Smoke, and I'm truly excited to take this learning journey with you across the Sunflower State. Learning Across Kansas is a partnership between the Kansas State Department of Education and the Kansas Public Broadcasting Service. Together, we want to ensure that your education continues as we deal with social distancing and the health issues facing our society. Most of all, we want to have fun with you. Opportunities to learn are all around us if we just use a little imagination and creativity as our guides. Most of all, we want to see what inspires you. So let's get started. What are these, you ask? Well, these are my geometry goggles, because in today's show, we're going to explore geometry all around us. Yes, this will be a genius geometric journey. We'll investigate 3D objects and nets with Mrs. Hillman and Olathe, play everyone's favorite game show, Two Truths and a Fibonacci with Mr. Wolf and Derby, calculate the volume of 3D objects with Mrs. Bowden in Andover, and talk perseverance with Counselor Schrader in Maret. Later, we'll be challenging you to get your brain and your body active with Coach Martinez in Dodge City, create beautiful Fibonacci doodles with Mrs. Farha in Wichita, and design your own stop-motion animation challenge with Mr. Gudde in Frontenac. We've got a lot to do, so let's get started. Grab your notebook, friends. Our 3D geometric journey begins with Mrs. Hillman and Olathe and Mrs. Bowden in Wichita. I've got my geometry goggles, so let's go.
Hello, Kansas scholars. Today we're celebrating geometry. Geometry when it comes to STEAM, science, technology, engineering, the arts, and mathematics. Grab your journal, grab a measurement tool, that's right, and make sure you have your geometry goggles on. You see, the magic of putting these goggles on are every time that you look through your house, you're going to start to notice shapes and the sizes of things. And that's the best way to celebrate geometry. Let's go. You looked around your house. You saw shapes, many of them 3 dimensions, length times width times height, 3 dimensions. I found yesterday when I went to the grocery store some 3 dimensions, 3D models. Now this is packaging for my toothpaste. But the cool part about the science is that taking something that's 3D down to 2D, that's right, length times width. And now in the science and engineering world, we call that a net, an N-E-T. Let's explore creating nets. We recognize this shape is a cube, 6 congruent faces, 6 congruent sides. Now, if we take it from 3D, 3 dimensions, that's right, to 2D, length times width, we still represent all 6 faces of that cube, but now it's 2-dimensional. Now it's measurable. Now, for those of us that have enjoyed some pizza, that pizza box is a great representation of geometry. Take a look as it opens. We're creating a 2-dimensional version of that box. And now for our network challenge. I want you to walk around your house, find some packaging just like I did with my little raisins, and I decomposed. That means I unfolded, went from 3D to 2D. When I laid this down, take a look. I traced every part, every nook and cranny, every edge. I measured it, and now I have a net, the Network Challenge. What will be your challenge? Today, we celebrated geometry and a little spatial intelligence. My scholars, I want you to notice and wonder. Science is everywhere. Until next time.
Hey everybody, Mrs. Bowden here from Andover, Kansas. I love lemonade. If I wanted the most lemonade possible, which glass would I pick? We need volume to help us decide. So what is volume? Volume is the amount of space an object occupies. When solving for volume, we are oftentimes given formulas. To help us understand, let's explore where these formulas come from. Here, I have a rectangular prism. To find its volume, we first need to find the area of its base. Once we've calculated the area of our base, we want to see how many bases stacked on top of one another reaches our overall height, which leads us to our volume formula. Area of your base times your height equals volume. What's beautiful about geometry is the relationships that shapes have with one another. Volume of prisms and pyramids have a relationship. But what is it? Let's take a look. Notice how the height and the bases are the same on both figures. We can use these similarities along with what we've learned so far to help us discover the formula for volume of a pyramid. If I was to fill this pyramid up, how many pyramids do you think it takes to fill this prism? Go ahead, take a guess. Let's see. The volume of one pyramid would be 1/3 the volume of a prism because it took 3 pyramids to fill one prism. Cylinders and cones have the very same relationship. Cylinders use the same formula for volume as prisms. You are about to see that it takes 3 cones to equal the volume of one cylinder. Just like our prism and pyramid, the volume of one cone would be 1/3 the volume of a cylinder because it took 3 cones to fill one cylinder. Great job today. Now, time for some lemonade.
Hey parents, you're doing great! With Kansas school buildings closed and homes being turned into classrooms, parents and caregivers have expanded their roles in their students' learning. This is a new experience for most of us, so let's show one another a little grace. When you and your students start to feel overwhelmed or stressed, take a break. It's really okay. Keeping students interested and engaged in learning is the key to success. Remember, you have an entire community of fellow caregivers and teachers to lean on. Reach out. Together, Kansans can.
Isn't the road to geometry super cool? It's paved with visualization, investigation, and discovery, which makes it perfect for our learning journals. By the way, have you added some new thoughts to your journal lately? If not, no worries. We definitely have more geometry goodness in store. Like right now, let's head over to Derby to play 2 Truths and a Fibonacci with Mr. Wolf.
Welcome to your favorite game and mine. It's time to play 2 Truths and 1 Fibonacci. Welcome to your favorite game and mine, 2 Truths and 1 Fibonacci. I'm your host, Nicholas Copernicus. Let's go over the rules. This game consists of 2 rounds. The first round is a sequence of 3 questions all about math prefixes found in everyday words. The second round consists of a sequence of 3 questions all about Fibonacci. There will be 3 statements on the screen, 2 of which will be true, but 1 is a fib. You name that Fibonacci, you get a point. The person with the most points at the end of the game is our winner. Let's play 2 Truths and a Fibonacci. Question number 1. Here are the 3. Failure to take care of your brows could lead to a unibrow. One unicorn has one horn on its head, or a unicycle has one wheel on each side. Name that Fibonacci. And the Fibonacci was the unicycle. As we know, uni means one. We know words like uniform, unibrow, united, unicorn, unicycle. Speaking of unicycles, we know that they just have one wheel. Let's roll on to question number 2. Question number 2. Bifocals are the glasses that change in the sun. They have 2 shades. A person who speaks 2 languages is bilingual. Or my bicycle can have 2 flat tires. Name that Fibonacci. The Fibonacci was the bifocals. Bifocals mean that the glasses have 2 parts with different focal lengths. We know that bi means 2. Other words with bi in it were bicycle, biweekly, bifocals, bilingual, and my nickname, biceps. All right, that was the second question. Let's muscle up to the third. Question number 3. A trident means a mythical creature in the water that has 3 teeth. If a mother had 3 babies at one time, she would have triplets. Or a triathlon consists of 3 separate events. Name that Fibonacci. The Fibonacci is the trident. Tridents are spears with 3 prongs. Tri means 3. Other words like tricycle, triplet, triangle, trident, trio, triathlon. Now, I'll let you recap your scores as we begin round 2. And as we do that, here is a word from our sponsor, your journal. For this week's journal, open up a new page, write in die, and say, write all the words that you can think of that start with or have the prefix DI. See if they have anything in common. I think you'll be surprised. Welcome back. This is round 2. These questions are all about Fibonacci. 2 of them are true. 1 of them is a Fibonacci. Name that Fibonacci. 1. Fibonacci's real name was Leonardo. 2. There is a rock band named the Fibonaccis. Or 3. Fibonacci died at the age of 27 after a late-night car accident. Name that Fibonacci. The correct answer was number 3. The Fibonacci did not die at the age of 27 from a car accident. Cars were invented in the late 1800s, and Fibonacci was not alive during that time. Oh, you know what that sound means? That sound means it's time for sudden death. This one's the same way. There are 2 sequences of numbers that are Fibonacci numbers, that are legit. They follow the Fibonacci sequence. But there's 1 sequence that is not. It's a fib of Fibonacci. Name that Fibonacci. The Fibonacci sequence is when the number of the sum of the previous 2 numbers. So we know that the letter B was the fib. Thanks for playing 2 truths and 1 Fibonacci. I hope you weren't like an obtuse or acute angle. I hope sometimes you were at least right. I'm your host, Nicholas Copernicus. Remember, the best way to serve pie is a la mode. Anything else is just mean.
That was the most fun. Well done, friends. And I can't wait to see if you discovered the rule for prefix DI. Did you figure it out? And now let's keep the games going. Let's head out to Dodge City for an active learning brain boost with Coach Martinez.
Welcome to your daily brain booster. Today's activity will be tic-tac-toe with a twist. Some things you will need is chalk, 2 different colored items, your driveway, mom, dad, sister, or brother. On your driveway, use the chalk to draw out the tic-tac-toe grid. Let's play tic-tac-toe.
We're gonna run there, put that where we want to put it.
You know how to play tic-tac-toe, Mata? Guess how to play tic-tac-toe. Create a road, you can diagonal, across, up and down.
Yeah, you said no.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Okay, you're gonna start with 1 in your hand. Start 1 with your hand. And when I say go,
We're gonna run and put it down.
you're gonna run and put it down. Ready? Go. Remember, when you're playing tic-tac-toe, you don't want him to have 3 in a row. So where would you put it? There you go. That way you block him. Now, when this happens, you guys go back, touch over there, and come back and reorganize your one of these things.
So say we put it down, we go back, and if we don't have any left,
you go
we
back.
rearrange
Yes,
it.
you rearrange it.
We only can move ours, right?
Yes, you can only move yours. It's your turn to play. Let's get it.
Odd Squad Healthy Habit number 111, how to stay away from germs. Greetings, agents, the Big O here. As you know, Odd Squad helps people all over the world. But in order to do that, agents have to stay away from germs to stay healthy. And I have some tips. Tip 1, keep your hands away from your mouth, nose, and eyes to stop the spread of germs. Tip 2, stop germs by disinfecting. I like to use these disinfectant wipes. Wipe off things you touch most often, like doorknobs, badge phones, the button that keeps the Earth's gravitational field working, and light switches. Tip 3, when agents are sick, they should stay home. And if you do get sick, rest up and listen to your doctor. My doctor says this a lot. What's next? Remember, agents, stay strong, stay healthy, because Odd Squad needs you.
For more from Odd Squad, check out the PBS Kids video app.
Welcome back. I'm Mrs. Smoke with Learning Across Kansas. Now that we've explored a bit of geometry in math and science and played a couple of games, it's time for us to get our creative juices flowing. Did you know that geometry plays a significant role in art and in video production? It's true. Let's visit with Mrs. Farha in Wichita and with Mr. Gudde in Frontenac to see how we can be geometric artists and producers.
Hi guys, Mrs. Farha from Wichita, Kansas. The Fibonacci sequence is used throughout the world of art and all over nature to create things that are really beautiful to look at. Here are just a few that I found in my house today. The first 10 numbers of the Fibonacci sequence are 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and 55. You find each number in the Fibonacci sequence by adding the previous two numbers together. 2 plus 3 equals 5, 3 plus 5 equals 8, and all the way to the end. You can create your own doodle art using all the numbers in the Fibonacci sequence. Grab your journal and let's get started. First, use your notebook to create a grid. Start in the middle and color 2 1x1 boxes, then a 2x2, then a 3x3, all the way around until your paper is full. Start at the first square and spiral out, going from corner to corner of the boxes. Now, use the numbers from the Fibonacci sequence to add doodles to your spiral. Add leaves with 5 layers or 8 dots. Add half circles around the edge and numbers of 21, or make a rose with 13 petals. Doodling isn't difficult because you can just use basic shapes and patterns, but to fill in your page, it will take some perseverance and some patience. Can't wait to see your Fibonacci doodle art.
Hey everyone, Mr. Gudde here at Frontenac, Kansas, and today I want to talk about geometry. Go out and look around at all the geometry in the world. Once you spot some geometry, let's do something fun with it. Let's create a stop motion video with geometry. Here's Connor Doherty and his example of stop motion video. Now how cool was that? How many geometry items did you find in the video? Now video is an arrangement of 30 pictures per second. To make a stop motion video, we're only going to use 15 pictures in a second. You will take a photo, then you're going to move your items for the next photo. Take a picture, and then move your items again. You keep doing that and keep repeating it until you get your desired look. It's going to take some perseverance to finish these videos, but keep pushing forward and you're going to have something awesome in the end. Add some music and some sound effects to top it off. Now make sure you keep your camera from moving to make your video a little bit better. Now there are plenty of free apps available to accomplish these videos, along with a lot of YouTube videos to help get you started. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Until next time, be kind.
What cool and creative challenges! And how easy to do with some found objects that we have right in our homes. Thanks, Mrs. Farha and Mr. Gudde. You know, as much as geometry is beautiful, it also takes a bit of perseverance to create. Let's visit with Counselor Schrader in Maret, Kansas to talk with us about perseverance.
Hey guys, today I want to talk about perseverance. Perseverance is working towards your goals even when it gets tough. First, I want you to think about a time that you persevered through something outside of school. Maybe you stayed up until 2 a.m. trying to beat that level in your video game. Or maybe you asked your parents if you could have a new cell phone and they said no. So you came up with multiple reasons why you needed the phone and asked again and again. What else? Write this experience down in your journal. Specifically, I want you to think about the strategies that you use to keep pushing toward that goal, even though it got tough. The thing about perseverance and grit is that in order to experience this, you will usually also have to experience frustration, and no one likes to feel frustrated. In order to get over this hump of frustration, it's important to go back to the reason why you started, or that initial goal. What were you trying to accomplish? One phrase that we often use when talking about perseverance is growth mindset. Having a growth mindset as opposed to a fixed mindset is when you understand that your abilities can be developed and they don't have to stay the same. You might have heard other words when talking about perseverance, such as grit, dedication, and endurance. You will find that you will use the skill of perseverance in a lot of areas of your life. While you're working on your school activities, trying to find those geometric shapes, you might be feeling frustrated. You might run into a math problem that you don't understand. You don't understand what the directions are telling you to do, or you're not interested in the reading that was assigned. You are going to have to dig deep and develop some go-to strategies for persevering. This week, when you're up against frustration, document how you persevered. Write them down in your journal so that next time you're feeling frustrated and defeated, you have some solid skills to refer back to. And keep on persevering.
Kansas school buildings may be closed for the remainder of the academic year, but school is still in session. Keeping students engaged in the learning process during this extraordinary time is critical for their ongoing success. We salute our teachers, parents, and guardians who are committed to ensuring their students finish this year strong. We're all ready for our lives to get back to normal, but until that time, Kansas students, keep learning and keep working toward your goals. Together, Kansans can.
On Squad healthy habit number 339, social distancing. When you're sick or other people around you are sick, it's a good idea to keep your distance. So here are my top 3 tips on how to do that. First, instead of talking face-to-face, do it over the phone or video. Oscar, my old friend, great to hear your voice. And Mrs. Hydroclops, great to see your face. Not really. Second, if you do meet in person, keep 2 giant steps between yourselves. To demonstrate, I doubled myself. And my third tip, No handshakes, hugs, or high fives. Instead, you can use the official top secret Odd Squad greeting, hi. Just because we have to keep our distance doesn't mean we can't be connected. Why don't you go ahead and sign off for us? Stay strong, stay healthy, because Odd Squad needs you. Not how I would have done it.
For more from Odd Squad, check out the PBS Kids video app.
I hope you've enjoyed your learning journey with us today. Remember, investigation, discovery, and opportunity are all around you. Plan a certain amount of time to walk around and observe today. Ask questions and listen. Record your thoughts. You never know when the next big idea will occur. So that's our show for now. We'll be back with more teachers and more lessons very soon. I've been your host, Mrs. Smoke, and you've been watching Learning Across Kansas, a partnership between the Kansas State Department of Education and the Kansas Public Broadcasting Service.